You don't need another strategy. Here's what you actually need to figure out why you can't implement the things that you already know. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, former psychologist, now business coach, and I help women just like us to build profitable private practices, usually in under 12 months. Being neurodivergent means I see the patterns that other coaches miss, but it also means I'm a truth teller, so I'm not interested in giving you any business advice that sounds good or might be trending, but doesn't actually work for us. Welcome to the Practice Momentum podcast, where we're going to get your private practice sorted out. Thanks so much for being here, and let's get on with the next episode. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. What did you think of the new intro? I know, right? A little bit different, and why not? Why not? I'm in the mood for different things. If you've been in my world for a little while, you will no doubt have seen some of the different things and the different ways that I've been showing up. And, I said in a few episodes ago that I was developing something behind the scenes and that I didn't want to say anything out loud really about it until I had, properly tested it. We have, for those of you who studied statistics, we have an N equals 1. So it's purely qualitative and only one subject, aka me. But I have to say, the results have been so good. I'm going to share with you what some of them are. I don't even know where to start. It's been that big. So for those of you who weren't in my world, I'll just give you like a quick backstory so that these changes make sense to you in terms of what I'm about to share, because they're huge. Okay, so I think many of you will be able to relate to this. You know how I say new level, new devil? Yeah, it's like every time you grow, and we're all growing, I'm growing, right? I share that all the time with you here, and I see you growing as well. But each time we do, all our new stuff comes up, or should I say all our old stuff comes up, right? All the old stories, the beliefs that we tell ourselves, that, you know how we talk about like the little devil and angels on your shoulder and they argue all the time. All that stuff comes up, right? And it happens for me too. And my world changed considerably during COVID. And the reason for that, I won't bore you with the details because I know a lot of my listeners have listened to many episodes, so I don't want to belay. That's not the word, is it? I can't think of the word right now. Sorry. I don't want to bother them by telling it again, but just very briefly, my whole world turned upside down because I sold my home. My mother and I were both meant to go and get homes on a dual occupancy, both with our own titles and things like that. It didn't happen. I ended up staying here, and things seem good in the moment, right? And then sort of you live with them for a little while and you're like, maybe not so good. And so, this is why I've been this year very focused on preparing myself emotionally, mentally, psychologically, all the things to move into the country. And I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait. Super duper excited. But over that period of time, for the last little while, I have felt like, I've been kind of doing great with work and was pretty happy with everything. I honestly believed and I honestly felt like I was on top of it all, like I was in control, that I was kind of leading. It's very important to me to be a leader, that. And this year too, I have been myself more. That diagnosis of the neurodivergence and the beautiful women in Momentum earlier this year, I felt in the way that they responded to a questionnaire that I sent out, in a way, not that I needed permission, I know all of the things, but I felt like, I was accepted for being myself, which was blunt, direct, to the point. I just want to get in and get out. With the ladies in Momentum, I do reviews for them every Tuesday of the things that they're working on. It's not compulsory or anything like that, but it's optional, right? It's there for any of them that want support anytime. And yeah, when I'm giving my feedback, I just go bang, 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 bang. And, you know, if you've ever had a website wellness check from me, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about is bang, 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 bang. And I'm not sugarcoating anything. And some people like, they're like, oh, that stings. And other people are like, yeah, that stings. But do you know what? My friends and family have been looking at my website telling me they love it and been very, very encouraging and supportive. So I actually had no idea why it wasn't working. Now I know. So yeah, thanks. Do you do websites? That's usually the next question. So that's what I mean. It's been a big year in terms of that. And anyway, what ended up happening was I found myself changing the way that I work, which was how Practice Momentum came about. It's pretty much, for the most part, it's pretty much an appointment-free coaching model because I don't want to do appointments. Number one, I don't like them because I just don't like feeling trapped by appointment times. And then the other thing too is that I just disagree with this whole idea everything's got to be an hour. Like, I think that's baloney. Like, who even came up with that idea? It just doesn't make any sense to me to sit on a Zoom or a Google Meet, both dragging it out until, you know, the minute hand hits 58 or 59 minutes. Like, no, thanks. You've got better things to do with your time. So do I. I'm not doing it. That's it. That's it. And so anyway, with all of that, it kind of meant that there's been a lot of big shifts happening energetically too, sort of beneath the surface, right? My own mindset stuff, been dealing with that. Like things that I wasn't even aware of have come through as a result of this new process that I've been using, which you're going to hear about in a moment. So isn't it interesting? Because we do talk about it all the time, don't we? Like, we all know that picture of the iceberg where, you know, the tip of the iceberg, that's your conscious awareness, right? And doesn't it kind of like annoy some of you? I don't know, does it? It really annoys me to think that when we're doing work, it's only, you know, addressing like that very tip of the iceberg with our clients when there's this 95% or more that's actually going on subconsciously. So I wanted to do something and see whether or not there was a way that I could tap into that for myself. And if I was able to do something that worked, maybe then share it with my clients so they could tap into it for themselves. But it left me in a conundrum because, you know, it's always very hard to see your own stuff. So here I am feeling inspired. You know me, I love to act on impulse. I'm trying to be better at pausing. But I get the feeling, it's like I get this rush of inspiration and I feel like it's like such a burst and it feels so good and I feel like I've got to actually do something right here and now in the moment before I forget and all of this. But yeah, it's hard to sort of say, well, what am I subconsciously really doing, thinking, feeling here, right? Very, very hard. So I realized pretty quickly this was going to be challenging and I needed another way. And I love AI. I love it. I used to think I was pretty awesome with AI until I went and started my AI qualification. Turns out I knew very little. Yeah, I was totally in the Dunning-Kruger and didn't even realize it. I was constantly walking around thinking that I knew more than everybody else about AI. This is so embarrassing. I really thought that I was like Top Gun. Like, I really thought, yeah, I'm crushing it over here with AI. Like, I love it. I use it all the time, every single day, you know, blah, 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 all of the things. And I thought that I was using it properly, thoroughly, well, all the things. Turns out, no. Yeah, it was quite an awakening. So when I started learning about AI, I went into it thinking that I was going to like just go straight to the top of the class right from the outset. But turned out I was like not the brightest one in the class, which is actually where I believe you want to be, right? I think what's the value in you doing anything where you're like leading or you're at the top of the ladder or something like that, right? You don't learn anything in that space. But when you're coming into something and you're not the best in the room or something like that, that's good because that's a push, right? That's a stretch. That means there's a knowledge gap, a skills gap, an experience gap, there's a gap. And isn't it exciting to know that there's a gap, number one, and then to be in a space that's going to show you how to fill it? Like, I just think that is so exciting. And so that's where I was. That's where I found myself. And yeah, was it a learning curve? Yes. Isn't it so funny that when we go and do things, right? I don't know, but sometimes you don't expect that there's going to be a learning curve, even though you're signing up to something because you need help. I don't know. You just don't realize that there's going to be a learning curve. And when you're actually on it, it can kind of suck for a bit. You're thinking to yourself, oh, this is harder than I expected, And I think it's at that point, some people, they're just like, do you know what? I'm tapping out. I'm not going to do it. And so they stop logging in, or they stop submitting the work, or they stop turning up to the Zooms, that. Not me. I want to be like, I'm such a high achiever. I want to be like right at the top of the class. I want to be getting acknowledged by the teacher. Like, I want that, So anyway, it's been a huge learning curve. It has been very, very tricky to wrap my head around because, as you can imagine, maybe there's been lots of technical stuff and I'm not a tech person. But at the same time, oh my gosh, I am so quick with the AI now and I'm using it differently, and it's really been helping me to, I guess, free up my brain. It reminds me, I think I said this before, like it reminds me of, I guess, how people felt when the calculator first came out. Everybody was there doing things by hand. Or if you're a uni student and you went to uni in the mid to late 90s like I did, do you remember having to do all your statistics by hand, your chi-squares, your MANOVAs, your linear regression analysis, all of the fun things, and then sometimes they'd let you use SPSS. I know. It was very special, SPSS. And I think my SPSS was like one of the first ones. I think it was still even on the DOS operating system, for goodness sake. It didn't even have a nice interface. But how much easier and quicker was it to put your data into that, apart from, do you remember printing it off? And when you print it off, it would come out in a dot matrix printer. So for those of you who haven't heard about those before, the paper used to be quite wide and it would have little perforated tear-off strips down the left and the right with little holes in them, and the little holes would, cling onto little teeth on the side of this rotating thing, and that's what would spit the paper out. And there'll be a faint green line and a faint white line alternating, and it used to make this sound. It used to go zzz, 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 like it was really, anyway. And you would get your little printout there, and you could tell straight away the numbers were off, and it was because you'd hit a 2 instead of a 3, and then you had to go and re-enter all your data again, right? But the point is, do you remember how much easier it was for your brain when you did enter the numbers correctly and it just went bang, 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 this computer program, and boom, there's your number. And then you had the rest of that tutorial to actually sit down and work, right? Do the analysis, write it out, figure out what it meant, discuss it with your bestie. Like, you could do all of that stuff. That's what I think AI is for me now. Like, this is my experience of it now. I've now got the AI doing a lot of my cognitive lifting, which is great because it means I get to invent more stuff. And I get to play around with more things and experiment with them, so that I can give them to you, because my greatest joy in life, of course, is making your life much easier. I know that sounds like a load of BS, but it's actually true for me, and I've been doing it for a very long time. And I know many of you have been in my world for a very long time, and I appreciate you so much. So anyway, this is the thing. I started doing this process, and as you may already be anticipating, yes, it is AI informed, it's AI supported, it uses AI, and oh my gosh, I have been able to, like within just a matter of days, oh my gosh, it was like there was this absence of anxiety that I didn't realize I had. Didn't realize it was even there. Beliefs that I didn't even realize were there got surfaced. And oh my gosh, was it confronting? It was very, very, very confronting, because the way I trained it was to present information in a certain way, because I really love to just be, just cards on the table with my clients. And I don't have anyone in my world that does that for me. Like my supervisor and my business coach, my brand new business coach, which I'm so excited to start working with, maybe he will, but all my supervisors and my other coaches, they've never, they don't work the same way that I do. So anyway, it was like, I can relate when people say, oh, can you just look at this for feedback? And they're expecting me to be like all Pollyanna about it and say all nice things. Like, don't get me wrong. Of course, I want to be supportive and nice, but at the same time, I'm not going to waste our time. We're just going to get on with it. And I don't want any of my people that I work with to do things substandard when I know that they're capable of better, when I can see, because I'm on the outside, the potential for their business. You bet your bottom, whatever it is, I can only think of colorful language, and I don't want to say it, but I absolutely am going to say, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. This is great. And have you considered this? This is an improvement. Have you also thought about that? I'm going to push, because I know what you're capable of, and I'm not going to let you do anything that isn't a true and proper reflection of who you are, your authority, build your credibility, all those kinds of things. But I haven't had anybody like that in my world do it for me up until I created this process. And so anyway, it has been confronting. So I was just sharing that because I want you to understand that I understand now what it might be like to be on the receiving end of some of my stuff sometimes. Difficult sometimes, challenging sometimes, helpful all the time. So yeah, there's that. And as a result, there were, I guess, all these things that sort of came into my awareness that I didn't know were there, which was the whole point of this process. And I guess I've been doing it for, 5 or 6 weeks now. It doesn't sound long, but it feels like it's been a year because I'm into it. I'm fully immersed in this process. I'm totally addicted because here's the thing, straight when you do the first step, all of a sudden, straight away, you're having a win, and it's a big one. And then that kind of whets your appetite, and you're like, oh, I want to do the next step. And so you just keep going and going and going, and it builds and builds and builds. And it's just, I can't even describe it. Somebody was saying to me the other day that she's going to be focusing on her studies. And I think she was saying about doing her master's. And I was telling her about this, and I said to her, well, if you end up needing something to do for a master's thesis, let me know. I've got this thing. Because here's the other thing. Oh, I'll tell you in a moment. But anyway, what do I want to say? Big changes. Yeah. So anyway, I've been doing it for a month and a half, which isn't even that long. But over the last maybe 2 weeks, even more changes happening. So recently I shared with you how I was inspired to just acknowledge how much I had loved offering some things like the DCS, for example, like a lot of my supervision, for example, but to release it, right? And I wanted to release it because I want to better move into this unfolding phase of the business that I'm in now. And anyway, I wanted that releasing to be pleasing for me, for my clients, for all that were involved. And for that reason, I really just put so much thought and care and love into things like, I've got this beautiful supervision client here who would be a perfect supervisor for her, right? Who do I know who's got the right approach, who's got the right personality, who's going to support her in the way she values support and all of this. And I just poured my heart and soul into trying to make matches for people. And I am so thankful that the ones I've heard about have been actually going very, very well. It means the world to me. With the DCS, I put the DCS together. It stands for Diploma Counsellor Society, but I put that together 3 or 4 years ago in response to, again, that autistic side of me that's all about justice. I do not like people being bullied, torn down, ripped a new one. I will not accept it or tolerate it. When it was happening in my online community on Facebook, there's over 8,000 beautiful souls in there now. But when I saw that happening, I put all those people who were engaging in that bullying behaviour on pause with an explanation, hoping they would apologise, hoping they would return to the group and stop. But as soon as their pause lifted, they were back in doing it again. And so I had to remove people from my community. And it felt unpleasant because I don't want to be that person who does that. But at the same time, it was also, I guess, stronger in me to protect other people. Not that they needed my protection. I know. But I just don't want to see that happening. And I will not tolerate it happening on my stuff, right? On my watch, on my turf, whatever it is. I will not tolerate that from anybody, especially from women who are meant to be not judging anybody, who are meant to be supportive and caring and raising each other up, not having it. So anyway, boom, deleted a whole bunch of you-know-whats from my community, and everything kind of improved from there. But I also went and made this little space over on the side for any people who had a diploma to come along and just be able to speak freely without getting worried, about getting attacked or anything, about everything that was going on with, at the time, talking about national standards and stuff like that. Anywho, so as a result of this process that I've been using behind the scenes, I knew that I wanted to release that now, but I didn't want to shut it down because there's still people inside that it means a great deal to, and I want to honor that. And I wanted to, I guess, in a way, pay it forward to someone who's up and coming, right? And that's what I did. I said to her, hey, what do you think? And I posed it to her, and she was over the moon about it, and we were able to do a beautiful transition and lovely handover and all of the things. And so it just felt so good. And I feel like me closing down some of the parts of my business that I've loved very much, but releasing them to help raise up other people who are maybe growing their supervision practices, or other people who are looking to move into, a leadership space and things like that. This paying it forward felt really beautiful and soul aligned, and it just felt so good. It's freed me up in terms of my mental capacity and my time to work more on this process, right? So what is the process? Well, the process basically is this. It came about because in all the time that I've been working with beautiful clients, trying to support them to create success in their practice in the way they define success for themselves. It's different for everyone. One of the things that I have observed is a pattern. Not all of them go through it, but I would say many of them do. It happens quite a lot. People asking me, what do I do next? What's the strategy? What am I missing here? What do you recommend? All those kinds of things. And, I can give people strategies, and usually a couple of things will happen. Either they will use it, it's great, off they trot, everybody's happy. Or they will, and these next ones are more common, right? or they will just say, oh, thank you, and they won't use it. It will get dismissed or discarded. They've already made up their mind that they're not going to do the thing, right? Maybe it's something like raising a fee. Maybe it's something like a GP meet and greet. I don't know, whatever. But they've just decided they're not going to do it, and they don't. And so then there's a little bit of a pause, and then they'll come to me later on and they'll go, hey, what else? That didn't work. What else? So I can give them something else. And then usually what will happen is maybe they might implement like a bit of it. You know, like I've got the strategies and the tools and the resources that I share in Practice Momentum are comprehensive because it's just who I am, right? I'm not going to like put together a, in air quotes, simple thing for people in Practice Momentum because I want them to have the best. I want them to have the latest, and I want them to have no stone unturned. I want them to have confidence in the thing that they're doing. I will never give them a strategy that won't work or that I haven't used myself. And so for that reason, a lot of my resources can sometimes look like, oh, it's like 6 pages, Brooklyn. I was expecting it to be 1 page. Yeah, I think I'll leave it and I'll come back to it another time. This is sometimes what happens. But it's their choice what they want to do. But the thing that I'm trying to say is sometimes I might use part of a strategy. So let's say it's something like a Google My Business profile. I've got a very comprehensive strategy on exactly what to do. And some of them will they'll make an effort and they'll do some of the stuff, but either it's not going to be what is instructed in the resource or the guide or the tool, right? They've just decided they're going to do it their own way. And they don't do very much of the rest, if you know what I mean. So we're just implementing a little bit of it over here. And then they'll say to me a little while later, yep, I still don't have any clients. I need another thing. What's the next thing? And okay, we'll give them another strategy, and then they'll use that other strategy, they'll implement it, and maybe they implement it fully this time. And then they come back to me a week or two later and they go, that's not working either. I need something else. And yeah, it happens. It happens. I think our default is to always doubt that what we're doing isn't working, to think things are too hard, to think that not that we don't necessarily want to put in the time or the effort, but it's that we don't want to put in the time or the effort. It's like if it feels too hard or if it looks like it's going to take too long, I'm not interested. I just want quick wins. And so what I saw emerging, and this is over years, right? This isn't a Practice Momentum. This is over years of doing this work. Definitely there's a pattern that has emerged, and the pattern is it doesn't matter what the strategy is, because the strategies that, in my case anyway, I give and that I share, they work, right? I know this because I've got other clients I give the same strategy to. They'll run with it, implement it fully, and boom, it's working for them. They're getting clients, inquiries, more traffic to their website. The money's coming in, they're doubling their income in less than 6 months. I was doing ROIs the other day, and somebody's smashed her ROI. She's got 1,200% ROI on her investment in Practice Momentum, and she's not even 12 months into the program yet. Somebody else that I was talking to just the other day, blew my socks off. I couldn't be happier for her, but she said something along the lines of, she's been in the program for 4 months-ish, and we were doing her first review, and she was sharing with me there that, it's even on her worst month now, she's doing thousands of dollars better than on her best month before working together. It's so the strategies work, right? So why they're working for some people are not working for other people. And this is what got me thinking. And then I wanted to, it's research Brooklyn kicks in, PhD Brooklyn kicks in. And I'm okay, I want to understand this better. And so, I figured it out. The thing I believe, and again, this is just N equals 1, but the thing that I believe is that it's less about the strategy and more about self-perception. I really do think that it's about how we see ourselves, because I can look back over all of my notes, and I did when I was doing the research for this, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? And, it was things like, I don't want to raise my fees because it's not fair. I don't want to, clients can't afford it. I don't want to look greedy. I don't want to charge a cancellation fee because then I'll lose a client, or I'll look greedy, or it's not fair to take money if somebody didn't receive a service, or I'm charging less for my online because it doesn't cost me as much to deliver it. And so I shouldn't have to, rip people off by like all of this type of stuff, right? Mindset stuff. But I think it's deeper than mindset. I think it's actually identity. I think it's how we see ourselves and how we see our clients, and where's the wiggly line in the middle for the business, right? It's like, it's safe and acceptable and okay to publicly claim and say, I'm a helper, I would do this even if I wasn't getting paid. I just want to help my community, help these clients, help the world. And we get stuck in that space of being altruistic and generous and kind and understanding and compassionate. And I call it client aligned because it's fed into us throughout all of our training about social justice and, being on the side of the client and having rapport with them. You've got to be in rapport with your client, and it's that rapport that's going to get them the outcome. And so how do you switch from being in rapport with somebody to going, hey, do you know what? You late cancelled, so I am going to have to charge you that fee. How do you do that? And this seems to be, in my experience, what's going on. And so this is my process. So my process is, I think that we have to have a look at how you're seeing yourself now. We have to integrate how you see yourself with the business owner version of you, all of the things. From there, then we can start to use some strategy. From the strategy, we want to implement the strategy once you've got it. And from that place of implementation, then we want to create what I call an upward-outward spiral of continual progress and build an evidence bank of that progress, build an evidence bank of your results. And so I put all of this together, and while I don't have my own research because I'm not connected to a university or anything like that, I kind of flipped it in reverse and I did it backwards. I made the process and then found the research to support it. Ideally, if I was doing this as a PhD, I probably would have had to do some research before I created my process. But hey, when you get to be in private enterprise, the world's your oyster and you've got total freedom, right? So anyway, yeah, this process is now informed on the evidence of other modalities like positive psychology, role theory, identity theory. There's a bit of ACT in there, not much. There's a little bit of behavioral stuff in there. It's so thorough. And yeah, I put it all together, and anyway, it's what I've been using. And then recently, it was earlier this week, I think, don't quote me, but it was recent. It was either earlier this week, so today's Sunday, the 28th of December, but this was maybe the start of the week, or it could have been the end of the previous one. Yeah, I was just talking with a couple of the ladies in Momentum, and then a couple of them really love AI, and I thought, oh, they might really like this. So I was like, hey, I've put this thing together. Do you want to have a go? And I shared it with them. And then the one or two other people who I felt could really benefit from it, and I've shared it with them. And I cannot wait to hear how they go with it. Basically what I've done is, and then, right, I was thinking after they were saying yes, I realized oh, hang on, I don't actually have anything to give because I only had my own notes about it, which were pretty like, I don't know, scribbled on one of my many multicolored notebooks. I get these pack of little notebooks off Amazon, and they don't have many pages. I think they've got maybe 100 pages if I'm lucky. But they come in little packs of like, I don't know, I think I get 10 and each one's a different color. And anyway, I use like maybe the yellow one for momentum and a blue one for my inspired notes and a green one for, anything financial. And, I just try and color code everything. So yeah, I only had really paper notes. Then I had some random notes in a Google Doc and some other random scribblings in a Google Sheet. So I realized, oh, okay, I know what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of days. And so I had to put everything together. So that's what I did. I put it all together. And then, of course, because it's me, I got into hyperfocus, and then it became bigger than Ben-Hur. And like what was going to be a couple of page Google Doc has now turned into like a manual. I think I've called it a guide. And then within the guide, I've got like the background and the overview and breaking it all down and talking about different modalities and how they kind of fit in and support different parts of it. And then I've got the actual instructions, and then I've got like templates for everything. And yeah, it got big. It turned into 3 different files, which I'm fine with, but it might be a lot for other people. And anyway, I shared the 3 files with everybody. And then I was thinking about it this morning and I thought, oh, I could probably simplify this, because one of the things that came out of the process just recently was that I am verbose. I mean, who knew? Apparently I like to talk. I've got a lot to say, and I can like go do, but I can with my typing as well. So then I realized, okay, I want to like see if I can pull this back a little bit. So that's what I did, and I've put it all just in one document this morning and sent everybody one document nicely and calmly. Feels much better. But anyway, some of the big things that happened over the last 2 weeks with this process for me in terms of noticeable change is, the big shift came around the business, which has been happening actually since I started this process, which if you go back 5 or 6 weeks to the episodes, you'll hear. But I just didn't see it at the time. But anyway, the other big things that you'll see are the formalizing of some of my structures. I've gone and revamped my webpage. I'm still website. I'm still in the process of doing that. So be kind if you go and have a look, but you'll certainly see a difference. I looked at my social media 2 weeks ago and realized this doesn't match up with me anymore, and I need to update it all. So I went and updated my banners, I went and updated my offers, I got rid of a lot of offers, and then I was looking at my feeds. So I was just like scrolling through my feeds on my Facebook business page and on my personal page and in the Ultimate Private Practice, the free online community. And I was looking at the content, and I was looking at, what I want to change, what I want to do differently, just looking, right? And I started to become aware that in nearly all of my photos, I look the same, and I'm wearing the Steve Jobs black t-shirt because it's just easier for me to wear the same thing. I've got like 20 million versions of the black t-shirt, and it's easy. I can just like go and grab a fresh one every day, throw it on, I lost count of the number of photos of myself where my hair was up in a top knot / messy bun, where I didn't have makeup on, where I was just being me. But I also realized that, this is like Brooklyn in her 5-year COVID bubble. That's what I'm calling it. That's honestly like That's what I'm calling it. And I'm out of it now. I'm in the process of getting out of that bubble now. And so that meant headshots. So headshots, new headshots done, start putting them on social media. And I just felt so good about them. I just felt so good. I looked at these pictures and my hair is out. It's not up. I've got makeup on. It's not like a face without any makeup. And things like that might sound little to some people, but to me, it has made like a 180-degree difference in how I'm showing up online. And I have to say, like, I have been, again, just like totally surprised with all the lovely things that people are saying, like messages plus comments on my posts. People saying things like, wow, I love this photo of you. Wow, you're looking so positive. Wow, it's like other people can see the change in me too. And I didn't, sometimes you just get in your own little world, right? And you forget that people are looking. And I just forgot. That people were looking. And so it was so lovely and very affirming to get this really nice feedback. It was really, 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 really lovely. And yeah, there's some of the big things that have been happening. The other big things that have been happening is actually taking action on manifesting this house, because you go through processes when you're manifesting, for example, or you're calling something in. You go through that initial stage of like contemplating, thinking about it, wouldn't it be nice? And then you start allowing yourself to daydream a little bit more, and then you start thinking, I wonder if it's possible. You go through all those steps and stages. Well, that's taken me the better part of this year. And just Friday last week, I met with a money person, and we sat down, we had a conversation, and it feels really good. We're having another conversation on the 7th of January, and my date, like, I want to be in my new place by the 30th of March, the end of the first quarter. Hang on, March has 30 days? No, 31, whatever. I want to be in my new place by the end of March. This is what I've just decided, this is what's happening. And there's an absence of anxiety. It's like, I don't know, it's a neutral feeling, but then the feeling of excitement comes, and I'm like so excited and I can't wait. Also, what's been happening is other things. For example, how I manage challenging situations in my business now. Now, before I used to have ways, right? And handling challenging situations, it's never nice, right? That's why it's called challenging. It's not nice. If it wasn't challenging, it would just be called a situation. But yeah, we all get them in business. It happens. And I had processes and things like that. But since doing this process that I've developed, that's changed. The way that I'm handling challenging situations when they arise in my business has changed. And guess what? There's an absence of stress. It's not that I'm doing hard things in my business joyfully. Don't get me wrong. It's not that. It's that I'm doing the hard things without having the meltdown, without feeling anxious, without doing any of those things anymore. And do you know what? Some of this stuff has been stuff that, well, with these changes, some of them are very private and personal. I'm not ready to share them yet, but I will in a future episode. The reason I'm not ready to share them yet is because they're still being processed, right? When I'm out the other side, I'll share them, you know that. But for now, just keep them to myself. But anyway, I've just forgotten what I was going to say. It doesn't matter. So big changes, basically. Anywho, so I ended up putting all of this together as a framework. And then once I had it together as a framework, I then researched it, and it turns out there isn't a framework like this. This is the first business coaching framework of its kind. And I could not be happier. I've checked and checked and checked. I hired somebody to also go and check, and I just could not be happier or prouder. I cannot wait to give it to everybody. But again, it's not going to be something I share publicly, obviously. This is going to be like part of the Practice Momentum thing. So up until now, when people join Practice Momentum, they come in and we do like a business assessment and we get them to create a plan. Now, some of them on the call, they all like to do plans differently. Some of them will do it on the call. They want to take notes. They want to have a Google Doc open. They want to be putting dates. They want to be writing out their list of things, stuff like that. Others, I will just say, do you want me to hit record so we can just be present? You can have a look at transcript later. We'll get some notes. Like, yep, let's just do that. So everybody's different. But I think now what I'm going to do for the process moving forward is the new people that come on, this can be part of it, because now that I've got it and I know it, I don't believe that a business assessment alone and focusing on your goals and your strategies alone is going to be enough. It will be for some people, but they're the minority. For the people who are already in Practice Momentum, I am just refining this at the moment. Once it's refined, we will do a workshop together. It will go for a morning so that you've got time to do it, get some feedback, get some clarification if you're needing it, all those kinds of things. But this has been a total game changer. And I'm thinking I might put it under Ethically AI. So Ethically AI is another sort of arm of my business. This is new. This came about as a result of the process, right? So Ethically AI is teaching you how to build competence and confidence with using artificial intelligence. Because all the things that I've been learning lately, I think could be very, 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 very beneficial for you in your private practice. Not to use directly with clients. I mean, maybe in the future, and I think you would need to have, you can, but you have to be very diligent about how you're going to do it and things. And I just probably wouldn't go there just yet because it's still, in the grand scheme of things, pretty new, right? But there are certainly so many ways that you can be integrating it with and for your private practice to do all kinds of things, to improve your money situation, to reduce your time, to boost your productivity, to manage the neurodivergence, all those kinds of things. But as I said, I really thought that I had such a great grasp of AI until I went and learned about it. So now when my clients tell me, I love AI and I think I'm really good at it, it's like I giggle on the inside because I'm like, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, I also get like this little buzzy feeling inside me because I think, maybe I can teach them something and they're really going to love it because it's really going to help them and it's going to be so cool. And we don't know what we don't know, right? So much fun. And I get excited thinking about what they'll do with that, Like I learned it and I'm still learning it, but I learned that and I took it and I implemented it, yes, but then I've gone and used that knowledge to create something and it's something that's actually very powerful. So I get very excited thinking about what my clients can do when I teach them some of this stuff for themselves. I think, I wonder how she might use it in her private practice for grief and loss. I wonder how she might use it in her private practice for women with ADHD. I wonder, it just unlocks so much. It's really, really cool. Anyway, that's where I've been. And I didn't record on Wednesday because I think it was Christmas, right? Or it was Christmas Eve or something. Anyway, but I'm so excited. And yeah, we've also got a new podcast cover. So it's now called the Practice Momentum Podcast. And you heard the new intro. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you are seeing real life examples of the growth happening in real time. And this is the other thing that I want you to know, because I think sometimes I see this a lot with websites, but I also see it a lot with things like niches and private practices in general. It's this misperception. I don't know if you'd say misperception or misconception maybe. We just kind of think that, once it's done, it's done. And I am here to say it's never done, because you work in a field, in a sector, in an industry that's all about growth. You are all connected with a practice, with a purpose, with values, with maybe even membership bodies, and you're constantly learning, right? And as a result of that constant learning, and even the learning that we experience through our clients when we're developing our practice wisdom, all of that changes us. If you ask somebody who's been in private practice for, 2 years, what would you tell yourself when you started, 24 months ago? How do you see yourself now compared to when you started? It's going to be different usually, because of all the growth that's happened, you see. And then 2 years after that, and 2 years after that. The business doesn't finish. The challenges don't finish. The growth doesn't finish. And because of that, a lot of the things in your business don't finish. I mean, it's kind of like with the website, for example. You'll get to a point where it's finished for now. Until you finally go and learn about EMDR or polyvagal theory, or the thing that is that you've been wanting to learn, right? And then you're going to go and learn about that. Maybe that's going to be your new passion. And then you're going to pivot and you're going to update your website. And maybe you're going to get a new name and maybe even a new logo, or maybe keep everything the same but introduce a new offer, which means now we've also got to start blogging about it, which means we've also got to update the homepage and the services page and the fees. Do you see what I mean? So thinking that, oh, it's never going to end. I'm never finished. I'm so behind. That type of thinking is not going to get you anywhere, because it's not true. It's just not true. And it's the same with not just the website, but it's the same with how you work. I mean, you might be a relationship practitioner now, doing couples counseling, relationship counseling, coupling and uncoupling counseling. I don't know all the words, but I don't know. There might be, Brené Brown might come up with some really cool approach to relationships, and you might just get totally waylaid and go, oh, I think that's better than Gottman's. I'm like going to go and do this now, right? It's going to happen. You're going to grow. Stop thinking there's going to be an end point. There's not, okay? You're in it now. And it's, people say, oh yeah, it's a journey, your private practice, blah, blah, blah. I think there are certain things that you will tick off for sure. Like, well, I was going to say your policies, but that's not even true, because look what's just happened. We've had national standards, and so people have had to update policies. They're going to have to get updated again when parts of the national standard eventually get rolled out, whenever that might be. So even your policies, just look at the NDIS stuff, like with all the NDIS processes, the review reports, the this, the that, the funding, the numbers, the amounts, all of that changes all the time. Like, there will be some things that stay the same, but they're the minority. So start understanding now that it's dynamic, it's fluid, it's going to keep on going. There is no end point for your private practice or the things that you're doing, okay? Understand that, and it's just going to make your life that much easier. Speaking of making your life that much easier, if you've been thinking about joining Practice Momentum, just a quick heads up, you've got 3 days to get an application in because the applications close for this current intake on the 31st of December. And this is the last time that it's going to be offered at this fee as well. There's a few reasons for that. The first reason is because it's constantly getting upgraded, but the fee isn't. It's constantly getting new resources, updated resources. Even now, it's getting like this beautiful new process that's going to become like the foundation of it moving forward. It's like constantly like that. And what was the other reason? I've just forgotten. That's not like me, is it? Just to forget stuff. But anyway, so you go until the 31st, which is, I guess, 2 or 3 days. And I will put the link to the calendar in the show notes. If you're ready to join and you just have a few questions, use that. If you want to go and get some more information about it, no problem. That's cool bananas. Go over to my website. You can find out some more about it there. Otherwise, have a really, 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 really lovely end of the year. It's going to be the new year in a couple of days, and I'm sure we'll have a New Year's edition for you then, but this is going to be the last episode for this year. And I just want to say thank you so much for being part of my world. I really do appreciate you very, 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 very much. Thank you for being part of my journey and staying with me through all the evolutions. I really do appreciate you, and I'm excited to continue to deliver these episodes where I can twice a week on a Wednesday and a Saturday coming into 2026, and updating you on all the progress that I'm making behind the scenes, even with the new house. So much fun. As I said, if you've got any questions about Momentum, let me know. If you're ready to apply and you've just got a couple of questions, go and book that call. If you want to learn more, head over to the website, brooklynstorm.com. And thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye, guys. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorm.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.